soca,
the other side. Yeah, low.
hip-hop and
Yeah, low.
R&B,
Yeah, there you go.
African, disco,
Let me stop.
oldies but goodies.
Hi, this is Janet Jackson.
We're bridging the gap. Seriously. Splash Radio 94.3 New Jersey.
Sing it, representing the color heritage. Represent the heritage. Marcus Garvey family. Color heritage family. Fashion with culture. Bobo Shanti. Represent the culture. Hey, color heritage. Represent the Caribbean. Listen up. African kings are up in our Vienna. Here, color heritage, rebellious offspring. Winston got a warrior spirit inside. From that time, we can't him. And this warrior spirit inside. It come from every shackle and chain. He wanna shackle zero. And I tell her color heritage and I'm off. The voice of Thomas, I remember rep the culture. I color heritage. I bring it to the latest fashion as I was telling you. Check out heritage.com.
Know what I am doing? Downloading the Western Union app. I need to send money to my auntie in Nigeria. Know what I am doing now? Checking today's exchange rate to Nigeria on the Western Union app. Now, I'm sending my auntie money to help her with her groceries.
Download the Western Union app today. Use it to check today's exchange rate and send money to loved ones in Nigeria. Western Union, moving money for better.
Western Union makes money from currency exchange. Carefully compare fees and exchange rates, which may vary and are subject to change. NMLS number 906983.
Jingles Entertainment in association with H&M Production presents a tribute to all mothers. On Sunday, May 14th, it's a Mother's Day dinner and concert starring Jamaica's living legend, Mr. Rocksteady, Ken Boo. Along with Jamaica's singing sensation, Ghost. It's a tribute to all mothers. On Sunday, May 14th, Mother's Day. It's a Mother's Day dinner and concert at Club Eclipse, 247 Fabian Place in Newark. It's a Mother's Day dinner and concert starring Jamaica's living legend, Ken Boo. Jamaica's singing sensation, Ghost. Also performing Jeffrey Smith and New Jersey's own Patrick Irie with MCs Greg and Lady D. Music by Unity Music, DJ Printo, DJ Jason, and DJ Earl. Dinner is served from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. Showtime is at 8 p.m. sharp. Early bird tickets are available now for $40 in Somerset at the Island Breeze Restaurant, in Teaneck at A Taste of Island Spice, in Newark at Tasty's Restaurant, in Patterson at L&A Restaurant, and Golden Crust, in Orange at Unisex America, in East Orange at Tropical Flavors, and People's Choice Restaurant, and Michelle Restaurants in Irvington. Don't miss a Mother's Day dinner and concert Sunday, May 14th, Mother's Day, starring Jamaica's living legend, Mr. Rocksteady, Ken Boo.
Say that you.
We say Mother's Dirt House. Say if you live in a New Jersey, Irvington, and any one of the surrounding area of them. Me and me couldn't know say a Mother's Dirt House and them place we go eat. I'm from here, Mother's Dirt House. A morning time bright and early, them over from 7 to noon for breakfast. I'm here tell us like any Mother's Dirt House, them have it out here. If I ackee and salt, we should know what them have it. If I salt mackerel, you know what they have it. If I kidney and liver, you know what, me say Mother's Dirt House, them have it. And if I porridge, you know what, porridge Dirt House, them have it. Them have to call me porridge. Them have the pork and the banana porridge.
It's tight, but we make it work.
On top of that, one special for Lily and not me, I tell us that steel curry chicken, brown stew chicken, curry goat, and them have fried dumpling, them have fried saltfish, them have mushy and coke.
Make sure those, if they sound clear to you.
I'm here tell us that them have homemade natural juice, and them have fresh carrot juice, them have carrot juice, them have
yeah, just a little bit. Well, the music is a little bit.
Them have it out there, jerk, chicken jerk,
yeah, just a little bit.
jerk,
So, up and down. How's that? Okay.
For the most authentic Caribbean food in town, check out Sunsplash Caribbean Bakery and Restaurant. They got the natural organic juice bar that'll get your day started right. Like the Power Punch, the Vegan Juice, the Mega Green, roots like the Immortal and the Resurrection. And peep this, they have an extended bakery department that whips up my favorite, the hot Hardo breads. White or wheat, that's your choice.
If you're feeling hungry, just grab a bite. At Sunsplash Bakery, the food is right. Jamaican party, Italian veggies. At Sunsplash Bakery, the food is right. Mix the deal up with the caramel Paris.
Ready when you are.
Serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They also cater to vegans and vegetarians with the Ital stew and the Ital aki, the soul jerk salmon and mango tilapia. And of course, they got the usual curry goat, oxtail, ground stew chicken, jerk chicken, and so much more. I mean, their menu is extended and they're highly rated. Your best bet is to just stop by or give them a call. They're open Monday through Wednesday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Thursday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. They're located at 56 Main Street in Orange, New Jersey, and can be reached at 973-395-3777.
These days are some hungry days. We need some more food up on the empty plate. Long time we there, we sit on a wait. Sunsplash restaurant, I run the place. Everybody me say just want a taste, yeah.
Let your food be a medicine. Eat well, live longer. I'm David Shepard, and I endorse.
But we gotta talk about it later because I gotta read this. Okay. But I'll be here.
All right. Okay. Splash Radio. 94.
You want to text it to your phone? Yep.
Reggae. Dance hall. Soca. Hip hop and R&B. African. Disco. Oldies but goodies.
Hi, this is Janet Jackson.
We're bridging the gap. Seriously. Splash
So you've been
Radio
councilman?
94.3 New Jersey.
You've been a councilman since 2012?
Yeah. Eric Dawson. Mornings at 10 o'clock.
Hey, bro, you're doing a great job. Love listening to you.
On 94.3.
Splash Radio.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is your truly Pastor Paul from the New Dimension Pentecostal Ministries, located at 601 Avenue in East Harris, New Jersey. Yes, I am inviting you to join me each and every Sunday morning from 5 a.m. until 9 a.m. on Splash Radio 94.3 on the FM
I'll give you a rate sheet.
Hours and hours of the soul-catching gospel. Join me right here on one of the great stations of our nation. Right here.
Tell me about the restaurant you wanted to ignore. And how you was able to get folks.
4.3 on the FM dial.
So that's good. So yeah. Here we go.
Well, I don't know, so Mr. G represent for 94.3 FM Splash Radio. We don't splash out the music on them.
Initialize sequence now.
Countdown.
Ahem. Your attention, please. This is no ordinary show. Covering news and information for Essex County, New Jersey, and beyond. This is the Eric Dawson Radio Show. Broadcasting from 94.3 Splash Radio. Now, here's your host, giving it to you like only he can. It's Eric Dawson.
Hey, this is Eric Dawson, and this is the Eric Dawson Radio Show, 94.3 FM. Call-in number 973-457-8000. Again, it's 973-457-8000 to listen through your mobile device. 213-493-0287. And as always, we're streaming live on Facebook. I'm here with my co-host on Thursdays, Ian Burrows. And as you see, we have somebody in between us today, and this is a councilman, East Ward Councilman in Irvington, Paul Inman. And we're going to be having a discussion about a number of issues, quality of life mainly in Irvington, what's going on, what we could look forward to. We also have Brother Kalfani, who's going to be on later. He is a candidate for Councilman in East Orange, and we'll get to hear a little bit about him, his platform. I'm excited about this. We're getting close to election time, so folks are coming out. We're glad that they recognize this is a platform that they should come on. But again, I keep saying to you guys, they don't come here for me. They don't come here for Ian. They don't come here for any of the co-hosts. They come here because they know that you guys are listening. So what I would like to do right now is ask you to take a minute and hit share to this broadcast so that we can get as many people to listen to this episode as possible. The other thing that I want to say is thank you all for the birthday wishes yesterday. Had a great time. And y'all, Ian's going to talk about that in a second. So, and anyway, I also want to say, if you guys did not check out last night's episode of Real Talk Radio, you have to listen to it. We had the community finally is opening up. We had Eric McLemore on. We had Moses Singletary, at least that's how he's known on Facebook. And they were sharing information about some of the inner workings of politics and culture in Newark. Some of the things that we've talked about here, some of the concerns that we have as citizens in the greater Newark area have about how things are going on, and we're going to touch on that. Kevin Jenkins is going to call in for the 11 o'clock hour, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. There's some other things that we're going to discuss in this first hour as well, right, Ian?
Absolutely. Just to summarize real quick, we may get the chance to speak about a birthday thing regarding you and Reginald Bledsoe. And,
man.
And we might also get to talk about Juwan Plummer, the 19-year-old teen who accidentally shot 2 officers and trying to defend his family. Jordan Edwards, one of the more recent teens, honor roll student athlete who was shot and killed by police officers. The verdict for the Justice Department regarding Alton Sterling, who we all saw the video of him being shot and killed in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I believe that's for the crime of selling CDs when he was on the ground at the time. And it was a crazy tweet by Terry Crews that we may get a chance to discuss, and a few other things. So,
all right. So let's start off with this bio. I'm gonna try to read this. It says Paul Inman is a former housing chairman for the Essex Board of the NAACP. He has been a continuous strong voice for the people in the township of Irvington. As a resident and a homeowner, I think that's important that our elected officials own homes in our communities. But as a homeowner for more than a decade, Paul has fought for the improvement of the quality of education received by children in Irvington, and we'll talk about beyond. Since 1996, Paul has worked tirelessly to sponsor many different activities to benefit the children of Irvington. Paul Inman is a man completely dedicated to God. Keep you grounded, right?
Absolutely.
His family, we'll talk about that. Married? Kids?
Kids, yes.
Okay. And his community. I'm going to, there's more. I'm going to post the rest of it. But here are some notable achievements. He's been elected as the East Ward Councilman since 2012. Awarded the champion in the community by the Christian Pentecostal Church in 2008. Awarded Irvington Township's proclamation by the mayor's office in 2008. Awarded Irvington Township African American Male of the Year by the Municipal Council in 2006. Elected to the Irvington School Board. Oh, I didn't know you were a board member. All right. So elected to the school board and then in 06 and then re-elected in 09. Elected to Democratic County Committee in 06. Commissioner of the Citizens Advisory Board in Irvington in 2005, and it goes on and on, guys. So I want to welcome you, brother, to the show. How you doing?
Hey, thank you.
We're going to try to bring the mics closer and then make sure that you get in. All right, and then it's a close setting here, man. It's all right, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So let's see if we can turn mine up a little bit more. There we go. So so what's going on in Irvington, man? I see a lot of stuff. I see the mayor posting a lot. I see a lot of camaraderie, a lot of brother and sisterhood among the council and the mayor. And I'll tell you, I get beat up by some people because of how I'm championing what's going on in Irvington.
Wait, and on the Irvington note, I want to shout out Tracy Bowers, the director of the fire and police department. It's my man over there.
We got to get him on the show. He can shout himself out.
Hey, Chief.
Let's do that.
Irvington's Chief Justice as well. Two good brothers over there. There's a lot of good stuff going on in Irvington. But back to you.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thanks for having me on. And you're right. There are some things, good things that's going on in Irvington. The mayor and the council is working together. As the East Ward councilman, though, my ward is the most challenging ward there is.
Now, tell me where the East Ward in Irvington is.
The East Ward is in Grove Street, from Springfield Avenue on Grove Street all the way up to 15th Avenue. And then also it goes from Ellis Avenue on Springfield Avenue down to, let's say, Myrtle Avenue on Springfield, and then if you go into 18th Avenue from Grove Street to Munn, all that is the East Ward.
So that's the section where you don't walk alone too tough. You're talking about basically when you say challenging. I just want to clarify for the listeners, that's not the area you walk and hold like money in your hand, walking down the street kind of thing. It's apparently something like that.
Well, listen. I mean, the police department under Tracy Bowers has done a tremendous job with reducing crime.
That's right.
In our area, and we are grateful. Although there is great things that happen, and there's more work to do. And with all the abandoned properties that we still have in my ward, or the vacant lots that need to be cleaned up, we want to just galvanize the community and hold the administration accountable, making sure that they develop a sense of urgency, making sure that these issues are cleaned in a timely manner, and making sure that our quality of life is improved.
And so, speaking of quality of life, I see a lot going on, or at least I read about a lot going on between the road construction, the demolition of houses, the rebuilding of some stuff, the cleaner neighborhoods. I saw the corridor on Springfield Avenue, new lighting put up to provide a greater sense of safety, or I guess the reality of safety. What kinds of things, what other things are we missing that's going on in Irvington?
Well, I think in the East Ward, and I think in other areas of the town, things are aggressively moving and improving at a faster rate. But in the East Ward, where we still have property owners that own these multifamilies are not being held accountable to maintain their property. So we have issue of that we have to make sure that our code enforcement officers are out, either they enforcing the ordinances, or if the owners don't come to court, then the town is aggressively taking them and putting liens on the property, cleaning and then liening the property. We just have a lot of properties that need to be, continue to be maintained. Right. Now, not to say that the Public Works Department and the administration is not doing some good things. I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying that the summer's coming. Grass is now growing. So in areas where our children have to walk through blocks, the grass is starting to grow, starting to get 3 or 4 inches. And I know that it's not really the job of the administration to clean privately owned properties. I'm just saying that we have to do a better job maintaining, either enforcing our laws or start doing the cleaning and leaning on these properties, so that way when our children do walk to the schools, they're not walking through garbage and debris.
Now I used to live in Scotch Plains, and I remember one day I was going to work, and the property on the corner, the people left it, and so the grass had started to grow. Right, this time of the year came, we had a couple of rains, and the grass had gotten high. I called the township. They came and they mowed it. And I guess they bill whoever the owner is of the property. I mean, isn't that a pretty simple thing for the township to be able to do, to identify those properties and then say, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna mow them, and then we're just gonna send people. I mean, you have an ordinance.
Correct.
What is the, so people know, what is the ordinance in terms of, if you know, how high the grass should be before you mow it?
The grass shouldn't be more than 2 inches. Once it reaches 2 inches, you really should trim the grass. And of course, if there is any trash and debris that's on your lawn, you should, or around your property, you should be sweeping that daily and making sure that your property is clean and maintained.
Right, and those things are important because folks look at some of the bigger issues, but a lot of the bigger issues in communities start with smaller issues, right? So if you deal with these quality of life things, mowing the lawn, picking up the trash, those kinds of things, it presents a better neighborhood, and it changes, I think anyway, just the conditioning, the mental conditioning of the people who live there. But my question, I guess, was again, how simple is it, or is it complicated for the township to simply identify these lots, maybe even ask the people in the community, say, listen, here's the ordinance. If there's a property that is not adhering to this ordinance, please let us know. And when it reaches, just an absurd height, that the township goes out and mows it and then issues a fine or a ticket or whatever.
It's a simple process. I think the challenge that the administration has is how someone is managing that process. We get the information, even through my office. If I get the information, I notify the administration of the particular properties, and sometimes it takes a while for the administration to have the sense of urgency to get it done, like yesterday. So it's a simple process. I think we just have to, the administration just have to have someone to manage it better, especially with the summer months coming up, and everybody wants to enjoy let's say, the cookouts in the backyard, or enjoy sitting on their stoop or their front porch, and they don't want to see garbage and debris at the properties that surrounding them.
Okay, I mean, regarding, only because we're talking about it here, I'm just curious. We're talking about the symptoms that we see, but what are some of the causes? Like these properties that are being abandoned and not kept up. Is it the particular small group of property owners, and that's how they are culturally with their properties? They just particularly quote unquote slumlords type, or is it that they're having difficulty finding suitable renters? Whereas they're able to get an income in order to maintain their property, et cetera, so on. I mean, what have you found out, in particular in your ward, that that's been the problem?
I think it's a number of reasons. Some of our property owners, especially that buy these multifamily properties, they don't live there. So since they don't live there, they don't take interest in maintaining the property on a daily basis. Okay. And I think that's one issue. I think the other challenge that we have as being a small city, that we have some folks that will drive through our town and do illegal dumping on vacant properties. So what did myself and my rest of the colleagues on the council, we came up with an ordinance to give our police officers the tools they need to say if someone is driving through our township with a truck full of garbage and debris, and they don't have the proper permits or to carry waste, we want our officers to be able to pull them over and cite them for carrying this waste.
That's a good idea.
And in a lot of cities are having this problem where they're people are just dumping materials on properties, but for the residents, who has to see it every day, their cry is that, I pay my taxes, I live here, although they understand that maybe somebody else dumped it and put it there, they don't want to see it.
Right, and it's a legitimate request, right?
Right, absolutely, and that's what we want to work with. We want to work with the administration and our residents to one, with the administration, develop a sense of urgency to let's clean and lean those properties, and then to our residents, if they see someone dumping, let's not wait until after they finish dumping. Call our police department so that our police can come and either confiscate those vehicles or issue tickets to those individuals.
And so I've heard you say a couple of times sense of urgency when talking about the administration. Two questions. One, what is the current relationship that the council, the body has with the administration? And if you had to grade them A to F in terms of their responsiveness and those kinds of things, how would you grade them?
Well, listen, we have, I'm going to say we have a good relationship with the administration and also my current council colleagues. The challenge that we have, though, that in my ward that, I submit a list of properties that need to be either cleaned or maintained probably maybe every other week. And to get information on how that process is going is sometimes it's pulling teeth. So although I think we have a good relationship, I just think that it has to be more communication as far as dealing with the residents' concerns. We have to make sure that, one, we're listening, two, we're responding, and we're responding in a fast manner. But then we have to get the information back to the council so that way we can respond to the residents.
So you're saying there's a lot because as a council person, you're boots on the ground in that neighborhood, right? So when people tell you that they got an issue, they want to get it resolved, and so they assume that you're the conduit between them and the administration to get those services that they desperately need. Now, do you have a sense of what the log jam is from when you give that information to when that information is processed and action is actually taking place?
I think I think it's just that there's no one really managing the issues, the concerns. Everyone, they write it down or they get the emails that I send, but to follow up, I don't think once they give out the task to the workhorse, no one's following up to make sure those issues are done. And then when we come and meet again, we're just meeting about the same things. I think if there's a follow-up piece, and the only reason why I'm stressing it now is because summertime is coming. I just had a community meeting on May 1st, and it was filled. The room was filled, and folks had issues with making sure that the properties. Some properties were clean and maintained, and we've been dealing with about 10 or 12 properties that's been not completed, not cleaned, and the residents want to see those properties clean as soon as possible.
So now here's my one of my last questions. I saw in the paper that there are going to be furloughs in Irvington as a result of trying to satisfy a budget gap of about $3 million. When you're talking about the fact that your constituents in particular are craving these services and there's a log jam, how will this furlough impact that?
I think it will impact it. There we go. Good. So I think it definitely will impact it. It's unfortunate that the administration have to deal with this this shortfall of $3.2 million, and this is back from 2015. So I think there will be some interruption with that. But I think the administration has to plan better, in my opinion. That $3.2 million shortfall was from an audit that happened in 2015, and I think the finance department should have known of that a long time ago, not just finding out now. So yes, it's going to not only hurt our services that the administration is giving to our residents, but it's also going to hurt our employees who, some who live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
You can't afford.
No, you're 100% right. I mean, I was just talking about the furloughs that are going to take place in Newark at the Housing Authority, and you're right. I mean, how many days are they looking at? What does that structure look like?
So far, I believe the administration is talking about 18 days? 18 days.
So wait a minute. So 18 days, that's almost a month.
Yeah.
Right, because 20 days is a month. So it's like more than 3.5 weeks. Oh my God. So.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was against that. I thought, and I'm still waiting for more information from the administration to provide. I really think that since we do have this shortfall, someone should be held accountable in that administration, because we should be finding out this at the last minute. Again, that was from 2015. This is 2017. We're just finding it out now, and it just appears that no one is minding the store when you have that big of a shortfall from 2015.
And so here's my last question. Summer's coming. In urban communities, man, summer typically means an uptick in crime. Right? Last year, I think you closed out last year with 4 murders, down from an average of between 20 murders or so a year. So we would like to see 0, but I think that 4 was incredible. I mean, that's no consolation to those families who had to suffer those 4.
Right.
What plans are in place right now? What would you say to residents as they prepare for the warmer weather?
Well, the good thing is that Director Bowers is really hitting the ground running. I mean, he already developed a summer initiative, crime initiative, to deal with the crime, the anticipated crime, and he's been giving us different strategies that they're going to use in the upcoming summer months. So we look forward to the things that he's going to initiate, and he did a great job the last 2 years. So we look forward to the success of him and his officers in the upcoming summer months.
Excellent, man. So what I want to say is thank you for coming in. I hope that we covered a lot for your, for our listening audience. Certainly, hopefully, residents in Irvington got some information. And guys, you prepare for this furlough.
That's right.
It's not going to be easy. I mean, and like you said, people living paycheck to paycheck. It's not going to be an easy task at all.
And support your public servants, your candidates, your elected officials who are actually out there doing some work. Support them in their endeavors by getting out there to do work with them, and or voting whenever it's time to vote.
Absolutely. So listen, man. Paul, thank you for coming in. And don't be a stranger, man. Anytime that there are issues that are taking place, information that you want to get out to the community, I want you to consider this to be a place that you can come and do that.
Oh, okay, appreciate that.
All right. Listen, so when we come back, we'll be here with our other in-house guest, Mr. Kalfani, who is running for East Ward Councilman. We'll be right back.
Listening to the Eric Dawson Radio.
Hopefully that was good, man.
Pleasure, take it easy.
Okay. Thank you.
Looking for trustworthy tax professionals? Give Impact Corp a call. We will assist you with all your tax needs. We are a team of CPAs and IRS enrolled agents. If you are audited, our audit protection team will represent you at no out-of-pocket costs. We provide 3 years audit protection and a year identity theft protection, so you can have your peace of mind without fear of audit. Call our team of tax experts today. 973-395-4401.
Here we go.
You're listening to the Eric Dawson Radio Show on 94.3 FM.
Hey, this is Eric Dawson and Ian Burrows and Ian. I'm sorry, Ian. And we're back.
Give it up, my
listen, that was very useful information, and I'm looking at my thread, and a lot of folks didn't really understand the longevity of this furlough. We're talking a month. Can you imagine going a month without getting a paycheck? Especially for people who are living paycheck to paycheck.
Right. I mean, that's insane.
So that's 2 paychecks. So for people who are living paycheck to paycheck, we're now talking about 2 paychecks down.
That's rough.
2 paychecks down. Well, listen, brother, how do you pronounce your last name?
Allen.
Are you Aleyne?
That's it. That's
Are you any relation to? I know.
Have you
Alan.
seen
I know
spelled that way?
Alan,
Wait a minute, but spelled that way?
Spelled that way, yeah.
I have never seen Alan spelled that way before.
My very good
I was going to throw a flare on that, man.
I had a very good,
but you know, before I did it, I said, let me ask the brother to pronounce. You know what I'm saying?
I have a very good friend who's a teacher in London with that name, and she's from Irvington. I just very good people. So.
Yeah, I got some family in London.
there we go.
It might be some kin.
All right.
Yeah,
so
she's definitely a Caribbean flavor.
So Kalfani is running for councilman of what ward?
Second ward.
Second ward. And you're currently working for the city of Orange. Correct. In the capacity of?
Chief Housing Inspector.
And you've been there for 10 years?
Going on 11.
Going on 11 years. You've seen a lot of things, man.
A lot in 11 years.
So in 11 years...
Captain Eric Webster?
Of course, my guy.
That's my bro, man. That's my bro. That's my brother from another mother right there.
Cool. Fellow,
shout out to him.
That's my man, fellow Steelers fan. That's my guy.
So working in that capacity, you see a lot from the ground. Correct. In terms of the infrastructure of East Orange.
Correct.
Okay. So in your bio, you say you could have done a lot, but you decided to come back and give back to the community. Why? What is it that you see, and what value do you believe you add?
In our communities, in the inner city period, there's a lot that we don't know and that we're not taught. But then, coming back and working in different, just take my professional capacity for one. Coming up in school, I didn't know that I could be, a building inspector or a housing inspector, or even what a code enforcement officer was. But then graduating and coming back, coming back home, I learned all about the career and the profession, and I entered into it. Where, oftentimes coming up, I've often believed that sports, I played football coming up, so sports was, the only outlet that I had. But, and that's how most of our inner city youth think, where it's either you have to have a great jump shot like Steph Curry, and thank you, or you have to be the next singer or rap star or something like that. But there's so many more ways to give back to the community, and so many more outlets for the community that I think we need to address and just explore, and identify for the youth and show them that there's so much more. So in coming from my environment and seeing that all throughout my environment, and then seeing how we live, right, or how we're forced to live, the conditions that we're living in, coming in this capacity, you walk in and out of apartments and houses all day long, and you see what people are subjected to, their living, and at the end of the day, we need to offer and provide a better quality of life for our people.
Now, who's the current second ward councilman in East Orange, or council person?
The current second, there's two. The number one is Jacqueline Johnson, but the one right now currently up for re-election is a gentleman named Ramon Bullock.
So each ward in East Orange has 2 council people?
Correct. Oh. 10 council people for the city, and 2 in each ward. 5 wards in the town.
That's interesting.
Okay. And they each serve 4-year terms, but they stagger them?
Correct. Each serve 4-year terms staggered. So every 2 years, one or the other is up for re-election.
Okay. And then in particular, in the second ward, what are the needs of that ward?
There's a lot of needs in our ward. Tons of different needs. We have a lot of apartment living, and there's a big need for parking. Within the second ward, there's a lot of issues with the parking. If you live in an apartment building, for example, you have your spot. Maybe there's 2 spots. Maybe you're blessed with 2 spots, given by your landlord. But then, if you have any friends, loved ones, family that wants to visit you, there's nowhere for them to park. So that's a big issue. Another issue is it's such a transient ward. We have a lot of new development coming in the ward, a lot of new buildings on the South Harrison Street corridor coming up, and we have nothing. We're bringing this demographic here to the city. We're bringing people to the city, which is great, but we have nothing within our city to capture the people that are coming to the city. So our city becomes like one big, hotel for the most part. You come here to sleep, you wake up, you leave town, go to work, or go do whatever you do.
So like no real downtown life and stuff like that.
Exactly,
right,
which is another big need in our city, a downtown life. I mean, we're right smack dab in the middle of the Midtown Direct train, right? 2 stops.
I got a question, because this is a little unusual for me. I mean, and probably there are other areas, I'm sure, that have a similar setup, but with 2 representatives in the same area, are there different responsibilities for each person, or do they both share in the same responsibilities? The reason why I'm asking that is, how do we, as the voter and or persons who live in the community, how do we know which person is to blame for the lack of things that would or should be going on that haven't been going on, et cetera? So like, how do we determine, the responsible party when you have 2 people essentially in charge?
Right. Well, you have different committees within the city, and that's how it's kind of delegated. You have like a business development committee, you have a parking committee as well, and just, funny enough, my opponent is the head of the parking committee. He's the chairman on the parking commission. So if, let's say, for example, you had issues with parking, which East Orange residents do all over town, doesn't matter which ward you're in, citywide, well, that's the guy who's in charge of the parking.
Right. So being that you want to take his job, what would you do? What would you do if you were to become the next person in charge, and how would you improve that for the residents?
Well, my plan is to look at alternative ways to park, like alternate side street parking. We have inner cities here, cities similar to ours, Orange, Newark, Irvington, who have alternate side of the street parking. Those programs work well. Right now in East Orange, we don't have that. We don't offer that. We don't even offer overnight parking from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., so we should take that away completely. We also have residents paying for parking permits, and if you $150 a month, which is, high, right?
Exactly. Along with the rent.
Along with the rent, along with the taxes. The taxpayers are being hit. Tell me about it, man.
Cable.
You got
what's going on out here?
You got child care. You got other things that you're paying for. So it's all adding up. And at what cost? What are the residents getting? At the very least, let's wipe away some of these excessive fees that are being charged. Taxes. There's some long-term things that we can look at. But staying on the topic of parking, we can take away that permit fee, offer that free for the residents of the city. That we're paying enough as residents, and allow them to park overnight. Right now, you park overnight, you're paying easily between $300 and $500 a month in parking tickets.
Yeah, what I would like even say, because it's still a revenue stream, and I don't know how they are going to counter that if they remove that. So a possible suggestion would be, instead of a monthly $150, an annual $150 parking permit, and along with your alternate side of the street parking, right? And I'm sure some people will violate that here and there, and those who get ticketed will, so they're not going to have a total zero revenue stream. They're going to still get some of that money back. So I think that's a possible way of doing that.
But then part of it is, you talk about taxes, right? And so you don't want to levy the tax, but some of the revenue that the town is getting is from these parking permits. So now you remove that revenue stream. How do you make it up?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The ticketing, if they remove that and they have alternate side of the street parking, for those who violate, I think the ticketing would offset some of that, and also reducing it as severely. I'm not saying removing it altogether. I'm saying making a monthly into an annual. I think it'll balance out over time.
But making a monthly into an annual.
Annual $150 versus $150 per month. I think it benefits. I mean, again. But this is a gentleman running. Let's ask him.
But I see the benefit of, for the resident, right, of 150 versus 150 times 12.
Right.
But in terms of the budget, right, that 150 times 12 works to help provide additional services to the residents.
Right, true, in theory. But my belief is it's got to be about the residents again, right? It can't continue to be, or can't always be about balancing your budget, and especially not at the expense of the taxpayer.
Right. Okay.
You can't always go that route. There are other ways to raise revenue, and we just need to get more creative, find different ways to do it. But if we cut back here in parking, I mean, we're already taxing people, in their property taxes. Let's say 4 years ago, if your taxes was called to $7,000 a year, you're probably paying close to about $12,000 or $13,000 now, which is unreal.
That's a pretty good markup.
A byproduct of that is you're forcing people out of their houses. You're pricing people out of their houses.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're losing a lot of our residents who've been here for generations.
Yeah.
So call a number 973-457-8000. Kalfani is running.
If anybody has any questions for the man,
challenge them. You guys have an election. Election date is when?
June 6th.
It's June 6th, so we're about a month away. So if you have questions, you need to ask those questions. Now's the time to do it, not to wait until after Election Day is over and then complain about who's in office, right? Now's an opportunity to get involved.
Have you guys had any debate set up or anything?
I haven't heard of any yet. I would love one. I would love to talk about the issues and, present my plan in a more public forum. I would love to do that. I haven't heard of any yet. I have reached out to a couple of different people, but I haven't
so your opponent, is he running on the party line?
He is.
Okay,
he is.
So that's why you don't have any debates. See, Ian knows. I just come with it, right? That's why you're not having any debates. They don't have any intention on exposing that person, right? They don't have any intention on trying to educate the community. They don't have any intention on doing any of that. What they want to do is suppress the vote by suppressing information. That's why we have a platform here.
Right.
And now, what's your opponent's name?
Gentleman's name is Bullock.
Bullock. I'd like to invite you to come on the show. He probably won't, right? Because he doesn't want to
say that. He might.
I hope he does.
Okay, you scaring the man away.
Am I too
already.
contentious?
You scaring the man away. Get the guy out of it. You just sent out the invite and they're already threw him under the bus in the same sentence. How does people? You see what I'm dealing with over here?
Well, I would love him to come on. What I'm saying is, a month out, there's no debate planned. Right. So I look at that,
and that's to his advantage, and that's why I asked the question. It's always to the incumbent's advantage if there's
so then
no
why would
debate.
he come on the show? I'm challenging him, but why would he come on?
No, but that's the question that our listeners and our voters need to ask themselves.
Right.
Why?
Well, I'm gonna help them connect the dots.
Why are we not able to listen to
Can
the
I make a
person
prediction?
who's in
He's
office?
not gonna come on. I'm gonna make a prediction.
Is that a different way to throw him under the bus?
Do I have
okay.
money? I gotta put my money on the ticket.
Look. All I'm saying is that, ladies and gentlemen, in particular those in East Orange area, the gentleman is running for a position. He's here to.
That's right. He showed up.
He showed up to it.
The other guy didn't.
To put himself in a hot seat.
Where's the other guy?
He's ready to answer any questions. He's ready to talk about issues. Do you know what's going on? What issues that you have in your community? Are you able to question your current sitting councilman? Are they available, making themselves available to you? And do you know their position? If the answer is no, then what information are you going to do or have to go? When you go to the voting booth, if you choose to go, when you go, and how are you going to make an intelligent decision without having all the answers, ladies and gentlemen?
Here we go. We got a question.
We have a question.
Ask him about the infestation of rodent complaints they have gotten and what has been done about it.
So the infestation of rodents, is
that a problem?
Oh my God, unbelievable problem. Now these are the things that.
In a problem in the ward that this guy Bullock, who's not coming on the show right now, and I'm predicting won't come on the show. I just want to be clear. Accountability is important.
Accountability is important. I'm with you on that one. Accountability is important.
Somebody. If there's a rodent problem, and
there's a rodent problem like that,
and if somebody is currently in charge, and there's a rodent problem, that means that person hasn't resolved it.
Right.
You gonna make the call? See if we can get them on now.
No. Go ahead. You do this thing, man. Go ahead. I gotta hear this.
There is a big rodent problem. But again, you wouldn't know about these problems if you're not visible, right? If you're not in the community, you're not walking around talking to people. walking through some of these buildings. And again, this is what I do almost 11 years now, 9 to 5. This is what
I got to interrupt you again. Listen, man, they're talking about all these buildings that are going up. That East Orange is the place where people are migrating because. Is that Raid? We got Raid?
No.
Oh, Ben?
Ben, it's when you hear about a rodent problem, it deserves background music. You gotta have Michael Jackson's Ben. You have to. It's mandatory. That's in the bylaws. That's got to be code somewhere.
So we saying that? We saying that Bullock embraces? Does he have a Ben?
Apparently, he likes Michael Jackson's Ben song. So he wants to keep that moving. I mean, what's going? Come, Bonnie, help us out, brother.
So what we have to do is we have to.
Wait. You don't like Michael? You laughing at Michael?
No, I love Michael.
Okay, go ahead.
I was raised on Michael. Now.
Okay, just checking, man. Y'all got to know who y'all voting for. Because if he didn't like Michael, he had to go.
No, I agree with that.
Okay,
I agree with that. That's the first thing.
Okay, go ahead.
But there is a big problem with infestation and rodents. Period. I mean, from as big as raccoons, possums, in the residential neighborhoods to in the buildings. You're talking a lot of bed bug infestation, a lot of roaches. A lot of mice and rat infestations, and a lot of the problem, is the landlords aren't, in the buildings at least, the landlords aren't exterminating their buildings as state code says they should once every 30 days.
Okay, but they're not going to do that unless they're being held accountable.
Exactly.
Right?
That's exactly right. 100% right.
Is there a code enforcement law group out there? Are they what are they doing? What's going on? I mean, only because we were talking about revenue and this, that, and the other.
Right.
Those people breaking the law, they add to the revenue but only if we tax them.
Right.
So what do you propose now? Because this is not happening. We got a rodent problem under Kafani, leadership in that ward. What would you do?
Well, I'm licensed by the state of New Jersey as a housing inspector and licensed as a building inspector in the state of New Jersey. One thing that I would mandate for our code enforcement department is for us to be hiring licensed inspectors, right? So when we go into, or if they're not licensed upon getting hired, that within the first year they do get licensed.
How does a person become licensed for that, and what type of training is required, and how long?
Well, we send I send my inspectors to courses that are offered through Rutgers or through any of the local community colleges, Essex County, Middlesex County College, and then they take the course, pass the course, and then you take the state test.
And what's the typical annual salary for those type of persons?
Well, it depends on what town you're in. Town to town is different.
Well, I'm just information for the listeners, for those who might be seeking employment. This might be an opportunity for them to understand.
Very true. Let's give it take a $40,000 position.
Y'all heard this, and all it takes is a course. And how long is this course for?
The course is about a three-month course.
3-month course, $40,000 a year job with benefits.
With benefits, if
y'all better get on your grind out there.
But that's one of the things that we need our inspectors to be able to do is know the state code so that they can hold these landlords accountable. Hey, listen, you have to exterminate and you have to use these particular either extermination companies or these chemicals to get rid of the problem and treat it more often than you've been treating it. Right. A lot of times, let's say a building is 10 stories, landlords are doing 2 floors at a time. I mean, what are you doing? The rats and the roaches are running from the 10th floor down to the 8th floor until you're done, and then they'll go back up. Right. So you're chasing them through the building instead of eradicating them completely. Another thing that we need to do within the community to get rid of these raccoons. Actually, I just was walking on Amherst Street, and I spoke to a young lady, and she had this raccoon in her yard for like the last week. And she couldn't get rid of it, but there's no one in City Hall to call to get rid of this. She said there's no one in City Hall to call to get rid of this rodent or these raccoons. So I set her up with an exterminator or animal control officer, and they actually have an appointment today. He's going to go there and remove the raccoon from the yard. But she had nowhere to call. No one. She did not know that information, and just didn't know how to get rid of the raccoons that are infesting her yard.
So the city's responsible to making sure that happens versus them having to hire a private.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's good information to know people. Y'all listening, right?
Provide that.
Okay.
All right, man. So I think that I asked you to give us some bullets. I want to make sure that we give you the platform to talk about who you are and that we didn't miss anything, right? So is there any more to your plan?
There's definitely more to my plan. My plan attacks involves crime, increasing police presence, right? And not just the cars, because in East Orange, everyone knows you can't drive through East Orange, right?
At all.
You're going to get pulled over.
What?
But one thing we need to bring back is our walking patrol. right? And that'll stop a lot of the petty crime that goes on. Right now in East Orange, our highest crime is burglary, right? And people breaking into cars and just robberies on the street. And that's our highest crime right now in the city of East Orange. And if we have a walk patrol, that'll cut a lot of that out, right? A lot of the loitering, the hanging out, the panhandling even, that'll cut a lot of that out. And it'll do two things. Number one, make your streets safer. And number two, build a better relationship between the community and the police department. Because you know who your police officers are, you get to talk, have conversation, and they know who the residents are. So that's number one. Number two, adding recreation programs for the youth. And that's one thing that we need desperately. I've got 2 kids myself, 2 small kids, a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, and after school there's nothing for them to do. Well, there's not much offered for them to do, and we need to add some more of that.
Okay, well, I can say from the reputation, definitely East Orange is within this greater Newark area, they're definitely one of the more, they handle their business. A lot of people are like, I ain't driving through East Orange.
Right,
I ain't going through the East Orange, and I gotta,
But here's my question for you, right? And we got about 3 more minutes in this segment, so I want to, give you as much time as you can. You're going to be 1 of 10 council people, so you have a plan. How will you work with those other 9 to help, to ensure that your plan is implemented?
Well, the great thing is I have really good relationships with some of the existing 9 already. There are, again, there's 10. There are a few of them that I really like that, are really hands-on people, just like myself, and they handle business, and we can work well together. We have good relationships. So I intend on bringing some new energy and fresh perspectives and just a fresh conversation period to the table, and seeing how we can make these things work and how we can implement these things throughout the city, but especially in the 2nd Ward. Some things that I feel like we've been lacking at least for the past 4 years.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, listen, and do you guys have ballot numbers? Like, how does that work in East Orange?
I got my line number. I'm on line G.
You're on line G. So what is it?
G.
You're just line G?
11G.
You're 11G.
I'm 11G. G is...
You're a tenant advocate?
I'm definitely a tenant advocate, definitely a resident advocate, a homeowner advocate. I'm an advocate for the people, period. I'm not here for the politics, and, they told me, if you're not on line A, you shouldn't run. I'm like, well, listen, I'm not running against line A. I'm running for the people. That's what it's about.
Oh, that's right.
That's what it's about at the end of the day.
Okay.
I have no issues with anybody over there, but just look, I'm here for the people. I want the city to be better, and it can be better, and we need to do more to make the city better, and we need to work together to do that.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We have Kafani Allen running for the people, not running against somebody else. So y'all need to get out there, look for 11G.
Well, what you need to do is, are you passing out? Well, I'm going to put your information up.
Okay, thank you.
And I want to let you guys know, me putting his information on the page isn't an endorsement. It is simply saying you should know who he is. Right? And if Mr. Bullock comes in, I'll put his information up. But I don't think he's going to come in.
I'm going to play Ben for him, too, when you get here. I promise you.
No, do you remember Willard?
The day he comes, I'm playing Ben.
Do you remember Willard?
Yeah, Willard was a monster. I mean,
Willard was a monster.
And anytime we're talking about rats, roaches, this, that, and the other, and rodents.
But these are how our people are living.
In the hood.
Problem.
Any type of thing that goes on in other communities, when they're in the hood, they're much bigger. Like the rats in the hood. Like they walk around like they
are there rats in the suburbs?
There's some rats in the suburbs, but the ones in the hood,
I don't know that
the
rats
ones in the hood ain't scared nobody. They give you the look like, bro.
Well, and I got to tell you too, which is really interesting, right? Rodents in the suburbs are different. You're right; they're different than the ones in urban rodents are different.
They fight on a
well, you know what? In the suburbs, you know what they call the mice? They call them field mice. Like they come into the house from. He'll tell you. They call them field mice, and they do a capture and release in the suburbs of the field mice. They go to the Home Depot and they have these devices that you can catch them, and then they go back out in the woods and release them. In our neighborhoods, man, they got brooms.
They do do a capture in the hood too. They
don't do a release.
Well, no, they don't do a release. They end up in the on the Chinese food menu. But go ahead.
Oh man.
Oh, low blow.
If we were trying to get a Chinese food sponsor here, we got a problem.
It's over.
Yeah, he just killed it.
He just killed it, right?
Killed that possibility.
Killed that possibility, man. Yeah, but you do need to know what your what is it? The General Tso really is. I don't know.
What you say, General Tso rat? What you say?
I don't know. But listen, brother, we wish you well.
Yes, thank you for coming by.
We got about a month before the election, so come back.
What day's the election? Get it real quick.
Tuesday, June 6th.
June 6th.
And your
11G.
Line 11G.
11G.
Kafani Allen, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll be right back after this break.
94.3.
Yes, right.
Reggae.
Kafani, my man.
Dance hall.
Hey man, you gotta engage them, right? You gotta get them there.
R&B.
That'll be great. I'd love to do it.
Disco.
Veronica blaming me for killing her lunch plans. Yo, what's up, Veronica? My
Hi, this is Janet Jackson.
She was gonna order Chinese. I just killed her lunch plans.
Blast Radio 94.3 New Jersey.
Looking for trustworthy tax professionals? Give Impact Corp a call. We will assist you with all your tax needs. We are a team of CPAs and IRS enrolled agents. If you are audited, our audit protection team will represent you at no out-of-pocket costs. We provide 3 years audit protection and a year identity theft protection, so you can have peace of mind without fear of audit. Call our team of tax experts today, 973-395-4401.
Oliver Samuels here, and I just want to invite you to come out to the People Profile Awards Sunday, June 18, 2017 at the Bailey Hall right up there in Fort Lauderdale. Guess what? Me will be the recipient of the prestigious Lifetime Awards. Don't take out one syllable of the meaning of the word prestigious. It's a black tie affair. Nothing less. Yellow Man get it last year, and that is a
commercial break, folks. Be right
no,
back.
never be the recipient. I'm taking it to another level.
Talk about a few things.
Know what I am doing? Downloading the Western Union app. I need to send money to my auntie in Nigeria. Know what I am doing now? Checking today's exchange rate to Nigeria on the Western Union app. Now, I'm sending my auntie money to help her with her groceries.
Download the Western Union app today. Use it to check today's exchange rate and send money to loved ones in Nigeria. Western Union, moving money for better.
Western Union makes money from currency exchange. Carefully compare fees and exchange rates, which may vary and are subject to change. NMLS number 906983.
Flash Radio 94.3 New Jersey. Rich. Well, I don't know, so Mr. G represent for 94.3 FM Splash Radio. We just splash out the music on them.
Eric Dawson Radio Show on 94.3 FM.
So, this is Eric Dawson and
Ian Burroughs.
Yo, man, Kafani, I want to learn a little bit more about him.
I do too. I kind of like the brother.
You know. So, Can I do that? There we go. So,
Can I do that?
Yeah, I want to.
what's that man's guy's name? Was that Urkel?
Yeah.
Can I do that?
But I want to, I want to learn a little bit more about the brother. But listen, on to this thing. I got threatened, man.
Yo, can we talk about that?
Yeah,
that was a happy birthday moment.
We got to talk about it.
That was a happy birthday moment, ladies and gentlemen. Only this man could be threatened on his birthday.
Well, it's not the first time I've been threatened, but it's the first time
on your
publicly
threatened on your birthday.
Right? So, for you guys who don't know what had happened was I unveiled.
Can I lead it up? Can I lead it up? Can I pass you the ball? Ladies and gentlemen, all right. This is funny. We had. Here's the call. All right, hold on, caller.
We're gonna have a call.
We can get you 2 seconds now. We were on talking about Education Week, and in Education Week, we were talking about the elections going on in Newark, and one of the people who ran and, in my opinion, unfortunately won, Reggie Bledsoe, was we called him out for claiming that he had a degree from Montclair, blah, 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 blah. Turns out that wasn't, according to the evidence that we have, that's not the case. So we challenged him to present it. And, well, I'm going to pass it to you now. I'm going to let you continue that part. Oh, the drum roll. That's a big drum roll.
The big drum roll.
Okay.
And so.
Okay, go ahead.
And so, at about 11 o'clock, so he doesn't have a degree. He does not have
Does not.
He
still doesn't have one.
Oh, he will never produce the degree.
Think he's going to go to Phoenix online?
Well, you know what?
He might get it online.
Look, there are two things that I hope happens. Right?
Okay.
One, I hope that folks demand that he be honest. Right? He's in office. There's no recall mechanism. But people can still demand that he be honest. I want to know what they're going to put on the Board of Education website, because they put the bios for all of the for all of the board members. So I want to know now if the board, the entity itself, is going to be complicit in this fraudulent behavior, and if they're going to put that he has a degree.
The Board of Education, where you can claim to be educated.
You're going to have to understand where that's going to happen. But
can you imagine the commercial for that one?
Dude, I don't. But he so anyway, he told me he was going to sue me. He said he was going to have his lawyer. Said he was going to have his lawyer call me. So I told him to.
What's he going to do with the money? Go ahead and buy himself.
So he has no standing, right? And he knows it. And so to continue this is an insult not only to me, but an insult to everybody else. He said to me, "Hey Eric, what are your sources?" So I told him. I said the alumni center at Montclair State University. I called him.
Wait, that was his question?
Yes. What are my sources?
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. If somebody's talking about me in a certain kind of way that is untrue, not only, I'm not going to just talk about what are your sources. I'm going to be like, diploma, degree in hand. It'd be like, pow, here it is. Nothing to talk about. Now what you saying? That's what I would have did a long time ago. I would have put a big ad out in the newspaper.
But he's not going to do it because the culture, and we talked about this before, the culture downtown is one of intimidation or attempted intimidation. So instead of him owning up,
he tried to take it to the street.
Yeah, he tried to take. Right. He tried to take it to the street. Let's take this call. Hello, caller.
Who's that?
Hello, caller.
Yeah, caller. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, this is Kevin. Can you hear me?
Hey, Kev. What's going on,
What's happening, Kev?
I've never done this before, so you have to excuse
me. Hey, Kev, man, do you have his back? You have his back, Kev?
Well, first of all, I'm not going to even answer that.
No, I'm saying, do you have Eric's back? You got to have his back because he's being threatened. What's going on around here, Kevin?
I have his back.
You got his back? All right, cool. That's what's up.
He's my colleague, and he's a very good man, and he does a lot of great stuff, and I honor everything that he does, and I think it demonstrates the enormous hubris to call someone on the weekend or in the evening to challenge them about what they did wrong. That's hubris. That's what we call hubris.
Yeah, that
means that he doesn't.
True.
That means that he doesn't have enough respect for the electorate and/or for himself. And that saddens me because we are about promoting young people and empowering young people. And even when we do something wrong, Eric and Ian, we have to, be honest and stand on it. And I've done things in my life where I've had to go in front of my family and say, I shouldn't have done that. I should have used better judgment. Sometimes if you apologize in this business, I think we talked about this before, if you could just look yourself in the mirror and apologize and say, look, I was wrong, and I may have got ahead of myself, but forgive me, and I'm going to do a better job and start fresh. But to call you on the phone to challenge you, that's hubris. That's what we call hubris in my family.
It sounds...
I'm very disappointed, and I think he owes you an apology. I think he owes the community an apology, but I think the people that he owes the most apology to are the children and families and the people that voted for him. Because what really happened was the people that voted for him actually clearly made a mistake because he can't apologize to his electorate.
False advertisement, But if it's funny because it kind of reminds me of a movie that I like say Ice Cube just had you know, like with like the teachers fighting, you know, like the school fight thing, whatever that movie was called. That's what it sounded like. He was calling you out in the hallway. Was like, hey, Eric, you can't be talking about me like that. What's going on with you?
Well, as community leaders, right? As community leaders, we're held to a different standard, you know. And I got to tell you, you, Ian, you, Eric, all of us, when you get on that show, you held to a different standard. You know, I mean, it's all about communicating and using the right language and trying not to tear people down, but hold people accountable.
Right.
And if people continue to go out and distort reality, create and act in a delusional state, I think you have every responsibility to say that they're wrong. Now, if they're out there asking people for their help and, you know, trying to work with their community, you know, we got to support that. So if somebody does something great, we support that. If somebody does something bad, well, we're confused by, can you explain it? Can you talk to us about it? There's nothing wrong with that. That's been happening in our society for a number of years. I mean, just today in the New York Times, there was a whole discussion by an op-ed writer, Charles Blow, about the Republic, you know, about the Senate being the logjam to stop the Congress from doing the things that it's doing. And because of that checks and balance, it gives a lot of people an enormous voice in politics or in Congress or in the Senate to stop some bad policies that are going to affect people. So those checks and balances are very clear, and I think the media in its new form can act as a check and balance, and we've seen that happen all over the country. Social media has been a great tool for that. So I'm disappointed. I mean, but you know one of the things I'm thinking about when I'm telling you this? His peers tell him he needs to apologize.
Wait. So that is the deeper thing for me. Everybody who supported him, and I'm talking state senators, congressmen, council folks, the mayor, assembly folks, freeholders, they were all on a piece of mail that went out with this gentleman. They all know the truth by now. Because trust you me, if I was wrong, they would love nothing more than to take me in the town square and flog me for this. But they know I'm not wrong. And instead of coming,
I would flog you for that.
And I would expect you to. And I would expect you to. But I did due diligence before coming out and saying what I said. So I know that I'm not lying. I know it's truthful that he does not have a degree. So they all know it, and all of them are now complicit in this fraudulent behavior, and they're showing absolute disregard for the residents of the city of Newark. I mean, I just think that but here's going to be the interesting thing, and I said this before you called in, Kevin. They're now preparing the website to replace the the board members who are no longer there with the newly elected board members, and then switching over who the chairman is, which again is another topic to be discussed at some point.
Yeah, that was interesting.
But when they put Reggie Bledsoe's bio up, here's going to be a moment when they decide to put this bio up, whether or not they are going to continue a lie, or whether they're finally going to fess up
and omit that part
and admit, not omit, but admit that the gentleman does not have a degree.
Someone said something to me that I thought was very interesting. They said, "Well, Kevin, maybe he did graduate and he's still paying his student loan, or he wasn't able to finish paying for his degree." And that happens to a lot of kids.
That does happen. I have a cousin that happened to.
Right, but that doesn't disqualify if he graduated or not.
No. Well, wait, stop, because I want to go back. I'm going to say this, because what he said was this. So he compounded the lie by going online and telling a gentleman, Eric McNamara, who we actually had on Real Talk Radio yesterday. I want to talk about that whole thing too. But he told Eric McNamara that he was going to produce his diploma the day after Election Day. So now,
isn't the election over?
Yes. So see, you understand? My grandmother used to say, "One lie begets another," right? So once you start down that path, so I could understand what you're saying, Kev. And had he said that when I first mentioned that I heard rumor that he didn't, he could have cleared it up and said, "Well, this is what happened, right? I didn't, because he and I have a relationship." So, and in fact, in that same text message string where he threatened to sue me, I told him I liked him. I said, "I like you, Reggie." I said, "I like you."
Excuse me for a second. He's threatened to sue you?
Threatened to sue me. Right.
That's not conduct.
See,
That's not conduct.
Eric thought he was calling to say happy birthday.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. See,
he threatened to sue me. You know,
Eric thought it was a happy birthday call, and he said, "Hey, Eric, how you doing? I'm about to sue you."
And so for me, I'm simply looking and saying, don't the people deserve the truth? And so
there's a lot of people. One of the things I'm finding out, I mean, and because of this media market and it shifts so much, you know, a lot of people, you know, when you give commentary, even when you give commentary or even when you say something, it's got to be based in truth. So you will have people calling back and forth on private lines trying to define something based on their lack of knowledge. And then what makes us irresponsible, we put it out in the marketplace, right? So, you know, I've been hearing a lot of things in the last couple of days by people challenging some of the things that we might have said on the air.
Right.
I'm going to give clarity to that. If you are confused or if you are concerned or if you don't think it's factual, call in the show and we will break down every aspect of what we're saying.
That's right.
So we can bring some truth to the discussion.
That's
but
right.
for someone to call you up to say that they're going to sue you, which is improper, that is serious. And then for someone to say that you're a liar, or for someone to check your integrity that says to me that something's wrong. Because if you have any information that disqualifies what we're saying, the number is what it is.
All you're gonna do, if you write and you have the proof, all you're gonna do is present it immediately and shut him down.
Right, but I want to get to the bigger issue. Right? Here.
Let me ask you a
Kev,
question.
we're going to ask you to hold 1 second. We're going to take this call. Don't hang up, Kev.
Hold on, Kev.
Hello,
Hey,
caller.
good morning, caller.
Hey, yeah, this is Edward Johnson.
What's happening, Brother Johnson? I'm glad you called. Hey, go ahead. You asked it. I was about to ask the question for you, but I'm gonna let you ask it, being that you called in, because I really want to see that too.
Well, no, I actually called in to let you guys know before this all took place. I actually had a conversation with Rich, and I wanted to let him know that to watch himself, because his comment to me was, I have all these people sitting in office, they're all behind me, all these people behind me, he doesn't understand why people would be coming after him. And I had to explain to him, I said, once you align yourself with someone that's sitting in office, a lot of times they won't be coming after you, but they'll go after you to make you look bad to get at that person. And I told himself to be very careful, because I didn't want him to be a pawn in their game. And then all this came about, and I guess he didn't listen, because he thinks that everybody voted for him because they like him and what he has done for the community, and he doesn't understand that they were voting for the line itself.
Right. Well, hey, I don't know about, but I want to see the text. Can you share with us? Because I really want to see the text, because that really, I would have put him on blast.
I'll post the text on my page, and I think Edward asked me to do that. Thanks for the call, Edward.
All right.
All right, peace. Hey, Kevin, you back. We're going to post the text, bro. I want to see it, because, at this point, I'm going to put you on blast. If you had the audacity to say that
but wait a minute.
without evidence
but I want you
to support your argument,
but I want you to understand,
you get to be put on blast.
It is a bigger thing, right? So Reggie, I think, is just a part of a bigger culture downtown North. So we're talking about the guy who supported him putting out a video about me, accusing me of hacking the computers.
You had the Russians helping you out too?
Down at City Hall. And then you have, we did Real Talk Radio yesterday, where we had a gentleman, Eric McLemore, who posted something on Facebook the other day and asked a simple question: is Newark safe? Right? Or something like that. And he got 400 or so responses to that. And the next thing you know, he's down at the police department, being questioned, being interrogated. And then he was asked the same question: are you hacking computers? So now you have people texting or inboxing at 11:30 at night, threatening to sue because you want to hold them accountable. You have people who are throwing out accusations of criminal behavior, right? The mayor in particular, on social media about me, right, because I want to hold you accountable. And then you have this guy, Eric McLemore, who simply asked a question: is Newark safe? And then because of the response that he's getting, he's dragged downtown, and he's told that the FBI is a part of some sort of there's an investigation going on, and that he's not allowed now, Ian, to communicate with anybody in City Hall.
Really?
Well,
what are we talking about?
If that is the case,
wow.
that is the case. That is a criminal act.
I mean, I want you to understand this. And then we hear these other accusations of people being patted down before they enter into meetings, and cell phones taken from them, right? And threats of loss of job for a non-compliance to a political decision.
Right. Well, you know what? I need to make a disclaimer real quick because I'm sitting in this room with you. I have no knowledge of Eric and the Russians hacking City Hall. I have no knowledge whatsoever. So if there's any evidence of that, please know I had nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with Eric and the Russians and Trump hacking into City Hall. So please,
Eric, can you do me a favor?
keep me out of that situation.
Eric, can you do me a favor? Can you unpack this a little bit for me? So I heard some of the show yesterday, and I thought you guys did a great job of giving clarity to what the issue was. I thought your disclaimers earlier on, both of you, were very professional. I thought that he demonstrated a lot of. He was very articulate in laying out what happened to him, and that's a scary situation for a young man. He called to City Hall, be called to a department in City Hall to be grilled by two police officers representing the city and representing the taxpayers, and some sort of Gestapo kind of using Gestapo tactics to put fear in him so he won't communicate on his Facebook page ever again about what he thinks might be an important issue in the city of Newark. So here it is. So was he told that he was under investigation?
No. So what I did was
Did he receive his Miranda rights? Did he get the opportunity for due process?
Well, the Miranda rights only come into play if they're placing you under arrest, correct?
No, you don't understand something about. You have to understand something. When police call you or police stop you, you're under arrest until they let you go.
Okay.
People clearly don't understand.
He shouldn't have gone down by himself, is what I told him on the show yesterday. Secondly, I told him that he should immediately retain an attorney, and that what he should do is have his attorney, well, his attorney will know that he should ask if he is the target of an investigation. I mean, here's a guy who's now being told, literally, he said on the show, right? He said that he was told by the police that there was an investigation going on and the FBI was involved, and that he was not to have any contact with anybody in City Hall.
Wait,
but before we do this,
I just want to know. Go ahead, Kevin.
Can I say something? If they gave false information in an interrogation, and they had his son in that room while they were doing that, that's a real serious issue. But here's another issue. If they qualify their discussion with him that the FBI is involved and that it was the hacking situation that got him to come to the police department, that is serious. What actually the citizens of Newark should be calling the FBI. Somebody should be investigating. The police department, the director of the police department, even hearing this, should have an internal investigation. And number three, we should be calling the ACLU, because am I correct to say that the Newark Police Department is already under review?
You're absolutely correct. They are.
Problems that they have.
So the ACLU should be contacted. I also want to know where the Citizen Review Board is. We should engage them in this. I mean, I think this is much bigger than Eric McLemore believes that it is. But I want to go further, right? I want to talk about this culture, even down at the police department with some of those folks. And so by way, an extension of what the culture is in the mayor's office. Back in the last election, it was in 2010. The Newark Police Department showed up at my dad's office, which was located at 660 Stuyvesant Avenue in Irvington. So Irvington is important, right? It was in Irvington.
Right.
But these detectives showed up, plain clothes, unmarked cars, inquiring about a fax.
What'd you do then?
No, to my dad's office, for my dad, about a fax. Okay. So my father asked him, was there an investigation? Why were they there? Why were they in Irvington? There was an issue. Why weren't the Irvington police called? Upon him asking the question, they left. But what I'm going to tell you is they showed up. What the hell's going on?
Well, should I slide my seat over this way? I just want to make sure I'm not in the room with a Russian spy.
Let me ask you a question, Eric. Let me ask you a question, Eric. What was the outcome of your discussion, of you and Osman's discussion with him? What was the outcome? What was his plan of action? I mean,
that he was going to retain an attorney. That he was going to retain an attorney.
So this has been public dialogue for the last 24 hours, for the last 14 or 15 or 20 hours. So, okay, so now the public knows this is going on. This should be an ongoing discussion if you're prepared to do that, because that's serious. And what I understand, this has been going on for some time. It goes back to the executive privilege.
Oh no! So you understand, Kevin? I have taken audio from last night's show, and I intend to send it to media outlets.
And send it to the FBI, and send it to the ACLU, and send it to the Police Review Board, and because that's a serious issue. And that goes back to what we were saying, Eric, several months ago, that they are now mining our Facebook pages and mining our Twitter pages and mining our Instagram pages, and they're using the authority that we have given them to lead our city, and they have now turned our city into a police state. That is a serious crime.
Wow, man, that's deep. But you're not a Russian spy.
No, I'm not a Russian spy. I'm a concerned citizen.
They've turned our police department into a private police force for themselves.
Yeah.
Now, they can't deny that. They can't say that this guy is making up. Let me ask you another question. Didn't this guy tell you that he was a student of the mayor?
Oh, you know Eric McLemore, Ian?
No, I don't know.
No, I'm asking Ian.
You know, I don't.
So Eric McLemore, up until...
Yes, I do know Eric McLemore.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Was a staunch supporter of the mayor. Staunch supporter of the mayor. He said he would like to believe that, the mayor or his chief of staff wasn't involved, but he said in the interview, you can listen to it for yourself. I'll repost the link, but he says that all evidence seems to point in that direction, that they were and somehow complicit in this. Now, what I would say is this: if they weren't, I'm sure, given the number of people that listened to the episode last night, including a lot of the people from City Hall, I'm sure the mayor and his chief of staff knows now. And so my question is, what action have they taken to distance themselves from this? Have they said, we had no involvement in this? See, because that's what I would...
If the guy walked into the police station at 1 o'clock on Wednesday morning or 1 o'clock on Thursday morning, it's all taped. The building is taped. So you can't walk in that building and not be seen. So for them to suggest that it didn't happen, that's just deceit by deception. That's a lie. For them to say that he was not being interrogated by two police officers, that is a lie. Now, if he got on the air and said that something that he didn't do, they have every right to go and knock on his door and lock him up for lying.
Oh, wow. So wait. So I've got Butchie Nieves who says, Kev, we're going to ask you to hold. Hello, caller.
Yes, how you doing? This is Osman Shabbat.
Hey, Osman.
What's going on, Osman?
Hey, how's it going, Ian?
All right, good brother. All right.
Yeah, I love that you guys are following up on our discussion. I'm still getting inboxes and calls about that series. There was something else I wanted to add on.
Okay. So we brought Kevin in on this conversation as well.
All right, hey, but Osman, before you continue, I'm just making sure, because now I have to watch my steps. Are you a Russian spy?
No, I'm not a Russian spy.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just checking. All right, that's all. I just want to make sure, because I'm already in trouble sitting next to Eric. Go ahead.
Right, I'm not sneaky enough, to get into the spy game. But what I can say is that there's more evidence that this was a vast conspiracy by many members of City Hall. And what Eric McLemore forgot to share was that even after he was interrogated by the cops and yelled at in front of his son as he was leaving, some people coming up the stairs and they said, you better be careful because we'll start revealing some personal information about you. So they added on to the threat. And, really out to intimidate him. And then when you combine that with the fact that they told him not to contact anybody at City Hall,
right,
and starting, interrogating him about his feelings about the mayor, it becomes very sinister what happened. And I shudder to think that we have an administration in Newark, downtown City Hall, that a 5 or 6 word post, just asking a question, not even taking a stand, although he has a right to take a stand, that a citizen who has been robbed, people forgot, Eric McLemore was robbed and had a gun pointed at him, and all his money was taken and his goods.
Mm-hmm.
Question about public safety.
Your connection on your phone is not clear to our listeners.
For a second? No. Okay.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes.
That's better now.
Yeah. Speaker, sorry. But the fact that a simple Facebook question, and it had a lot of engagement. So when he mentioned last night that 400 comments, because initially I was like, how can that one little question, but it was the engagement of the community about public safety, and that is not what the administration wants. The administration, if you notice, they don't even bring up the murders when they happen. Usually when something happens, the mayors are common. If you go to look at any other big city, when you have a murder, when a 16-year-old is shot, when several people at different bus stops are robbed, the mayor will come out and make a public statement because communities don't look at it as being normal.
Right.
But Mayor Baraka ignores all of these things. So the fact that he had 400 comments on that particular post with the community engaging, that is what spooked them. And there's all evidence that I'm not going to share because Eric McLemore needs to do it, but in a private discussion. But there's a lot of evidence that it came from the top or somebody very, very close to the top.
Okay.
Certain incidents. That's terrible.
Yeah, it is terrible. So listen, we allowed you to finish that because it's important. But callers have been calling in, so we're gonna if they call back, we're gonna take those calls. But Oz, thanks for the insight, man.
Absolutely.
You got it.
All right, peace.
So I think you cut off Kevin. Hello, Kev. Nah. Okay.
Hello,
caller.
Yeah, this is Butchie Nieves.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Butchie, what's going on, man?
All right. Make sure you mention what Quintana did to me with a reference of the detectives.
Well, talk to me about what he did to you.
Hold up.
Hello?
Hold on.
Hold on. All right. I think you hung up on both of them now.
Did I really?
Yeah. So
how do I do that? I just press the hand.
Yeah. So they'll call back.
Do I need to press the hand or I don't?
Yeah. Bring it. Yeah. You're gonna press the hand. So now push that one.
Right.
Right. Hello, caller.
Caller comes in.
I'm sorry, you got disconnected.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. No. So we're gonna get King to do it. So go ahead, Butchie.
Well, the point that you guys brought up that happened to Erica, the detectives, pulled them into City Hall. Well, they actually came to my house.
Wait a minute. Who came? Wait. Hold on for a second. Who came to your house? Who came to your house? Who came to your house?
Because I posted the termination letter that he sent to me.
Do you know how to
Facebook.
do it? And I asked him.
Do you know how to do it?
Let me ask you a question. Am I under arrest? Am I some kind of trouble? He says, no, we're here on a friendly visit because they feel very threatened that you put up that termination letter on Facebook, on your Facebook page. I
have to be talking when you bring the next person in. So there's no,
you're not breaking the law.
Then after you bring the next person in, because the next person is Kevin trying to get back in, we need to conference them.
On my Facebook page for my termination letter, you guys are here, like, am I being threatened? Am I being, what's going on? No. We're only here on a friendly visit, which
I told him, listen, should I take this to another level? Should I get an attorney? What do I have to do now that you're sitting in my living room talking about what Quintana's feeling about a letter that I that he sent me that I put on Facebook?
So this is crazy. I mean, I want you to understand. So Ian, do you see? So it wasn't for me. It's I can't even tell you. It's like a cult mentality. That is an extension of, I guess, not only the administration, but those who are part of the council who believe that they can use the law enforcement to strong arm you. And so the threats of lawsuits or the threats of accusation of criminal behavior. I mean, because for me to hack a computer, to hack City Hall's computers, would be a federal offense. So now when you have the mayor of the largest city in the state and one of the largest cities in the country literally go on Facebook behind his desk with the city seal and say, Eric Dawson hacked our computers. I want you to understand that. That's huge.
And you didn't do it.
No, I didn't do it. And
okay,
so,
I just want to be clear, because,
right.
Okay, you didn't do it.
And then you say the same thing about Eric McLemore, and now the story that you're hearing Butchie tell, somebody needs to get a grip on what's going on in Newark.
Wow.
I agree with you.
Somebody needs to get a grip on what's going on in Newark, because it's out of control.
It's almost like a West Side Story thing. It was like between the Sharks and what was the other one?
The Jets and the
Jets
Sharks.
and the Sharks, man. What's going on?
But we need to figure it out, because when we talk about the level of intimidation, now these are people, Eric McLemore, like Osman said, got 400 comments, so huge engagement from the community around his question.
Right.
Butchie Nieves, who is a voice in the community.
That's right.
And because of his voice in the community, a threat to those people who would like to, to hold on to power as he's trying to leverage, what he does in the community to give power back to the people. What it is that we're doing here on the radio show, bringing truth.
So freedom of speech is being
under attack? That's what I'm asking. So that's what we're asking, right? So are people not allowed, according to this administration and according to some members of that council, are people not allowed to speak? And if they do, have they been systematically putting people up as examples of what could happen to you if you chose to? This is deadly serious.
Well, we see it on so many levels.
But I'm an example of what you're talking right now. Being the kind of voice person that I am, and such a person that have always stood up for the underdog, always defended the bully, I lost my job. Quintana fired me for something almost as exactly what you're talking about. So this is not different. And remember, Quintana been there for 30 years in that place. So he is probably one of the ones that orchestrate a lot of the things that are going around here. So let me tell you something. What you're talking about right now is no surprising to me. What is surprising to me is that he's one of those persons that stand behind everyone else and do all the malice towards his own community. And this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and so we need to, I'm strongly suggesting that this community begins to look more deeply into the culture that's driving all of these decisions that are going on.
Right,
we need to figure out how to do that.
Right, and it's definitely not just a local culture, to be honest. It's a national one. We see that going on. If you open your mouth and you bring light to a situation that people don't want light brought to, the people, those in charge, persons working in government, in particular, and others, they will use all their leverage and force to silence you, whether legally or hey, by the bullet or by the law, they find a way to do it. I mean, it's been happening.
Let's not hope let's get into the bullet. So we brought another caller on. Butchie, hold on for a second. Caller.
Hello.
Yeah, caller.
Yeah, I dropped my call. I didn't know if I should call back.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Kevin back. So Kevin, I don't know if you heard what Butchie was saying regarding what has been transpiring between him and Councilman Quintana, but he talked about police officers arriving at his door as well.
Well, we should be calling. Listen, we should be calling the federal government to ask them to investigate that kind of activity.
That's pretty scary, especially Newark. In Newark's history, we understand what that's all about. Surveillance. We understand coming out of the civil rights movement, what they did to some of our great leaders. You know, the FBI did some of our great leaders. And, you know, we already have a distrust for law enforcement in our communities already. So when people in power,
why'd you do that?
That we elect to that,
why'd you do that?
Because I took these off and I wanted to hear them.
You can't justify that
Because
kind of
see,
behavior.
I can't tell.
I mean,
I
so
couldn't
that's
tell
very
whether
serious.
or
We now
not
have
the video was still
people running
playing.
our government at the
Go to
national
see if you
level
see it.
that have no problem with going into our houses and surveillancing our computers and doing all the things that we've read about over the years happening to some of our ancestors. Now we have people in our government presently leading us doing the same thing. And they should be held accountable for that. I mean,
anybody that engages in that activity should be held accountable. I could be walking down the street right now and jogging and be under surveillance, and because I disagree or have an opinion against somebody that believes that I'm against them. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, well, Kevin,
if you take that job, wait a minute, but if you take that job, that comes with the job.
Yeah, well, Kevin, on that note, I'm going to cancel my appointment to go jogging with you tomorrow, just in case. I'm not jogging with you tomorrow. That's all I'm saying.
Wait a minute, but don't. I know we try to stay focused on these conversations.
Absolutely.
But I guarantee you, there are people in City Hall now that are afraid to go on their computers or use the technology because the city is presently breaking the law.
Well, no, I can tell you that is the case. It is the case. And so yesterday on the show, what Oz and I suggested that people do, because I'll tell you, folks have contacted me and said, look, we want to talk about things, but we're being monitored. In fact, we were told not to access our social media accounts, not just from, well, they shouldn't be doing it at work anyway, but even from home, they've been told not to access their account.
They're doing it. They're doing it when the people are at home on their computers. They're going into their Facebook pages. If you notice, there's a lot of people that watch your show, right? But there's a lot of people that will not go on because of that fear that their office doors are broken down, or they will be pulled over in the corner in City Hall, or they'll be eating lunch and somebody be walking up to them and saying, "Hey, I heard what you said about the administration." That is absolutely outrageous. And for people of Newark, clearly in the last several months, if they don't wake up out of their malaise, they're going to find themselves in complete reverse.
Kevin, I want to say something about what you just said. As a president of an organization that I am here in the city of Newark, we are very vigilant to see what is the attack that Quintana is planning to do against the organization, because I am the president of the organization. So we're keeping a close eye on what are their actions. Now, why am I saying this right now? This organization has been around for 56 years, and we have gotten all kind of accolades of how the organization has been functioning for the past 3 years that I've been president. So now that I'm no longer, now that I'm the president of the parade, and pretty soon the parade is going to be coming down, and we got to come up with all permits. We got to come up with all kind of different things to make this organization be the success that it's always been.
Right.
Let's see what's going to happen. We are keeping a very close eye to see what is Quintana's manipulation within the government to block anything or to give us a hard time to acquire all the permits and all the things that this organization has gotten for the past 56 years. So I want you to understand that we are keeping an eye on Quintana. What is the manipulation that he is trying to control through the city government against his organization?
Right. I hear you.
Well, listen. I got to tell you, Eric. I got to tell you, Eric Osborne, all patients about it because it's necessary. I mean, we no longer have a strong Star Ledger anymore. We don't have investigative reporters anymore. We don't have any real strong checks and balances. And all of these kind of conversations are helpful, whether you like people or you don't like people. They're all helpful, and I think they've all been productive. And I think they are built on a level of truth. And we need to have these conversations because these guys will just run around and just do anything and say anything.
Yeah.
And it's great that you guys are bringing this up. But I still say, what happened to that young man? And what has happened to other people in the city of Newark, right? You should continue to keep communicating that out to the community because that would not be accepted anywhere in America. And in a black city, a Latino city like Newark, for leaders to use that kind of power that they were given by the constituents I think that is a moral crime, and it is a crime, a crime on not just on the individual, but it's a crime on our community.
Yep. Well, listen.
And
Thank you.
that's very serious.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. Thanks for weighing in, Kev. And Butchie, keep doing what you do over there in the North Ward, man. Got to get you back in the studio.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And Kev, I'll see you on Monday.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Eric Dawson Radio Show on 94.3 FM.
All right, man. We got 15 minutes. Let's get through some topics.
Yeah, on the general, first family. We try to get to everything.
We do.
And this on the national level. For those who haven't heard, in Detroit, a 19-year-old teen by the name of Juwan Plummer. Well, let me set this up. There's a family in Detroit that for like 4 days or a couple of days, they've had to call the police at least four more times about the fact that their home has been burglarized and people coming by to rob their house, right? So they called the police this one evening, and because they felt something like that was going on, and a 19-year-old by the name of Juwan Plummer was under the impression he was protecting his house and his family, and he accidentally shot 2 police officers. Now he's facing up to 20 years for trying to, defend his family. This is a family.
What's the charge?
Attempted murder and things of that nature. I sent you the link in regard to that. And he's facing 20 years, because one officer was shot in the face and the other one was shot another body part. This is a shame. There's a website out, and they're trying to get money to defend. This is a 19-year-old kid that no prior issues, a good kid that was just trying to protect his household. I mean, my issue is that when it's the other way around, if an officer accidentally shoots somebody, more times than anything, I've never, they don't get punished. So, we have a young man that's facing 20 years. He's 19. Imagine him going to prison for longer than he's currently been alive.
But so here's the question, though, and I want to ask this question. So for you guys, it said that he was in the basement of the house, right, and that he heard a noise on the side of the house coming toward the front. That's when Plummer fired a single shot through the front door in hopes of scaring away who he assumed were burglars.
And so he was probably, scared himself, obviously.
But let's understand now, right? Because you have to understand the law. And then this is part of the challenge in where people say, everybody should have guns. If you have a gun, now you may, and you did that, you'd be facing time possibly. Because if you don't know the law and your rights in terms of shooting your gun, so because here's the deal. You're in a house.
Right.
There's no immediate threat. The person hasn't come in the house.
But the house has been robbed a couple of times prior too.
But it doesn't matter.
What do you mean it doesn't matter?
What do you mean it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter. Whoever was on the outside of the house was on the outside of the house. He was on the inside of the house. So that means, because I want you to understand, that means if Ian Burroughs had stumbled upon that house, let's say you were delirious, something happened, right? Your sugar was low, and so you were literally delirious, and you were trying to find your way to a house, and he was on the inside and got scared, he would be justified in shooting you. I want you to understand, because that's what you're saying.
And what I am saying, in the context of everything,
and you're saying that would just be unfortunate.
That'd be an unfortunate situation.
I think the owner of the gun has a greater responsibility.
I don't know if family call in and give me your opinion.
973-457-8000.
I mean, we're talking about a family that's been robbed several times. Right? They've had issues.
Call the police.
They've called the police several times
and
about this. Nothing has happened. Okay? So now, this is a young man who was in the basement in the house. He hears somebody walking along the side of the house. Again, he's 19. He's more afraid and untrained than a police officer who claims to be afraid in the situation. Okay, and we've seen these things and heard plenty of times the officer, hey, he was afraid about what's going on, and they accidentally shot. Maybe he shot too soon, but he didn't really mean to kill the person. This is a 19-year-old kid with no training, who's had basically post-traumatic, he's already been traumatized by the fact that their house has been burglarized a couple of times, and he hears what he believes to be a potential burglar coming around the side of his house. Now, and I bring that up because, gosh, I got to find that other one where it's happened with other people.
All right, so wait a minute, but here's what the dad says. The dad says that he's going to seek an attorney, right? But he says he's also aware of the situation and what his son did and what occurred, and says his son is prepared to face the consequences. So, but that's what the dad is saying.
Come on, man.
But I'm telling you, so we can be irate about it.
Why do we have to prepare a 19-year-old?
But we can be irate about it. But
his intentions were to protect his household.
I understand.
His intentions was not criminal in nature.
Right.
So my thing is, I'm okay with these laws if we apply the laws consistently across the board.
All right. So he may not be charged with murder, right? He may be charged with manslaughter, right? Which means he didn't mean to do it, but he did it.
All right. Well, now only for time's sake. Also, another one, a little on the other side of the coin, Jordan Edwards, high school honor roll student. And you can go on I sent you that link. High school honor roll student. An athlete and a football athlete in school in Texas was shot and killed by a police officer. Now the police officer gave a statement that they were in the car was going towards them, and to defend himself he shot. Now this kid was a passenger in the seat. He shot this kid in the head, in the face, and killed him. Now, they recently funeralized this young man and high school student. Hundreds of people there. And the police officer was just put on leave.
Pending?
Pending an investigation.
Right.
And excuse me if I'm a little... because I've heard
But shouldn't they investigate it?
Of course they should. My issue is not the law, but how the law is applied.
Two wrongs make a right?
No, let's talk about, just like what happened with Trayvon Martin.
Right.
And the young lady, the woman who...
It was horrible.
Now, what happened to Trayvon Martin...
Bland? You're talking about Bland?
No, not Bland. What happened to Trayvon Martin, shot and killed, and a person... Initially, now understand this, Zimmerman was never charged. He was let go. Only through public pressure and public protest, they charged him. He got acquitted of those charges. The same state...
But you don't fix the system by getting even.
No, the same state, a woman shot a warning shot in her house to defend herself from her husband.
Is she in jail?
Under the same law. She eventually got off, but she was
facing 20 years or something like that.
She was facing 20 years. She was incarcerated. Then she was allowed to go home on house arrest and had to be on house arrest with an ankle bracelet and all that retardedness. This is retarded.
But you can't fire warning shots.
Stop. You're in your household.
You can't fire warning shots.
You're under attack. You fired a warning shot, not at the individual, up in the air. She retreated. Shot up in the air.
No.
Yes,
she
did.
You know what she did? She went into the garage.
Yes.
Right?
She retreated.
Wait. But when she went into the garage, she could have escaped. But she went into the garage, got the gun, and then came back into the house. Let's tell the story.
But again,
so if she wait,
Ian.
But Ian, we gotta tell the story. If she was in fear for her life.
But what's the law we're talking about?
If she was in fear for her life, and when she left, so she got off. But if she was in fear for her life, once she was in the garage, she could have barricaded herself, and she would have been gone.
Stand your ground.
She didn't stand her ground. She left the house, went into the garage.
It's her house.
Ian, you're missing what I'm saying. So if I feel threatened and I retreat into the garage and then I come back into the house where you are, that changes things.
But the difference is all right, ladies and gentlemen, the difference was the outcome. One, nobody was killed. Nobody was shot. Nobody nothing. And end result. And she's the one that they prosecute. And let's go with this. Unlike Zimmerman, who wasn't initially prosecuted, who wasn't initially charged, she was immediately charged.
Yes, she
and
was.
Immediately
And they was wrong. They were wrong to do that.
Again, we're talking about the same law in the same state in this particular case and how they're being applied.
Well, no, I'm saying that she was right to be charged. Zimmerman should have been charged.
Okay, so but how are the laws applied? And the reason why I'm bringing these things up, because we see a pattern.
It is, but we also see a pattern of apathy when it comes to voting, right? We see a pattern of apathy in the African American community where we talk about how African Americans are unfairly treated by law,
right?
And then we don't vote for people who will change the policies so that we have more fair treatment.
All right. So, and another one, most recently, the Baton Rouge case.
Yep.
Alton Sterling, what's our brother Hadari? My man just moved down to Georgia. Congratulations, Reverend Hadari Williams. I mean, not to Florida, to Georgia. So Alton Sterling, the Justice Department threw his case out for the 2 white officers, and there was this video evidence of the fact the guy was on the ground at the time, and he was shot and killed. And initially, what he was doing wrong was selling CDs out of a store. Now, we have a problem. So now this is the point that I wanted to bring up, people, is that we have to stop ignoring the facts. See, ignoring and ignorance, part of the same word here, right? Because when you're ignoring evidence, we're ignoring facts, we're ignoring reasonability and our ability to think and all that, and we have certain things in front of us. When we choose to ignore what's actually there for a belief that we are all being treated equal, you're choosing to be ignorant.
But we know we're not being treated equal. I don't think anybody believes we are.
But when you choose to ignore what's going on with yourselves and you're not doing anything about it, you are choosing to be ignorant. When you choose to ignore, you're choosing to be ignorant because you're ignoring what actually is going on.
But I don't think they're ignoring what's going on. I think they see it. That's why we see all the sidewalk memorials, right? That's why we see people, we see the shirts, right? Rest in peace. So they're not ignoring it. They see it. What they don't do is work to change it.
That's
right. They don't work to change it. So they see it. It's right there in front of their faces. But every election day, and I try to bring all this stuff local, guys.
Right.
Every election day, you don't show up, but you complain and complain and complain, just like the brother we had in here earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
People in East Orange, y'all can complain about the rodents, the rat infestation, the bed bug infestation, but the voter turnout in that ward, I guarantee you, is going to be low. And so the complaint, whether
why do we think that is? Why do we think that apathy?
Oh, we got 2 minutes to try to deal with the apathy.
Why do we think apathy is at an all-time high? Anybody have? Hadari, Reverend Hadari, call in 973-457-8000. Call in because you're a reverend. You have a
So until he calls in
the community,
right? Hopefully he does call in.
Yeah, hopefully he calls.
But what I'll say is this. The apathy is at an all-time high because you have people on the other side who are systematically driving it. You see, it's not just happening. There are people who are suppressing the vote. Black people in black communities, brown people in brown communities, because they got a little taste of power and they don't want to relinquish it. They don't want to share it with the community. So they decide that they're going to be in conspiracy with other people to suppress the vote, to misinform, and to suffocate information from getting to the electorate. That's what it is. And so the more money they get dumped into them to be able to do that, the higher the levels of apathy are. That's exactly what's going on. And so shows like this, Ian, us talking about stuff like this, right? So when the brother Kafani was on and talking about the bed bug issue, when we had Councilman Inman on talking about the implications of this furlough, right? My question is, who's talking to the community about those things? It's not getting out. When we're talking about, the Board of Education, I've been asking them in Newark to do Facebook Live broadcasts to bring the greater community into a discussion. They refuse to do it, but they know if they did it, they get a greater engagement, yet they'll tell you that people aren't engaged. So they know they can use technology to change it, but they don't do it because they don't want to share power. That is the answer.
No, power is never going to be just get handed over.
No, it won't.
If you want some of the power that is due to you, that is justifiably yours, you have to go out there and take it. You have to go out there and do what you have to do to get what's rightfully yours. Bottom line.
And that's the power on the street, right? That's all the stuff that we're talking about. We're just going to play this out until the commercial. We're not going to play our outro. But that's the power to make the changes in the policies that lead to all the stuff you're talking about that is unfair treatment for African Americans. So I'm tired of complaining about it. Come on, guys, get out and vote.
Yes, we definitely have to get out there. And, look, as always, it's a pleasure, and I'm going to...
May I be the first to
Blast Radio.
It's
94.3.
That's it.
Reggae. Dance hall.
But that is the issue, Ian.
I'm with you.
Hip hop and R&B. African.